There is a reason a Hollywood actress can turn 50 and still walk onto a screen looking 30. And it was never surgery, and it was never luck. It is a craft, a set of secrets passed down in makeup trailers and studio chairs for 100 years, from the legendary artists who painted the Golden Age goddesses to the ones prepping today's biggest stars minutes before the cameras roll. So here they are, 8 Hollywood beauty hacks that make 50-year-olds look 30 again, and 7 mistakes to avoid. These are the exact tricks the artists who paint the most famous faces in the world reach for, and the exact habits they have trained themselves never to commit. This is the whole difference between a face that looks its age under a harsh light and one that can stop a red carpet cold, and almost none of it costs real money or takes real time. Let me take you into that trailer and show you, starting with the very first thing they do before a single drop of makeup ever touches the skin. Number 1 is cold, and it is almost embarrassing how simple it is. Before a big event, before the cameras, the pros put ice on the face. A cold roller kept in the freezer, a bowl of iced water they plunged the whole face into, a wrapped cube glided along the jaw and cheekbones. It does not matter which, because the effect is the same and it is instant. The cold shrinks the puffiness that makes a mature face look tired and heavy. It temporarily tightens the skin and the look of the pores. It wakes up the circulation for a natural lit flush, and it leaves behind a firm, smooth, ready canvas that makeup then sits on flawlessly. A puffy, soft, sleepy face reads as older. A cold, tight, awake one reads as years younger, and the whole thing takes 60 seconds and costs nothing. This is why the stars always look freshest at the exact moment the lights come on. The artist iced their face minutes before, in the trailer, out of sight. It is one of the oldest tricks in the business, used since the studio days when a leading lady had to look flawless under blazing set lights for hours, and it still happens in every green room in Hollywood today. You can steal it exactly, tonight, with a bowl of cold water and a few ice cubes, or a cheap roller from the freezer, gliding it slowly up your neck and jaw for a minute, always upward, never letting the bare ice sit on one spot. Do it right before makeup for something that matters, and you will watch a tired, puffy face tighten and brighten in real time. Number 2, while the skin is still cool, is the massage, and this is the one that genuinely sculpts. A flat gua sha stone, or even just their own knuckles, drawn firmly up and outward along the jaw, the cheekbones, and down the neck, drains the lymphatic fluid that pools and puffs a face as it ages and coaxes the whole lower face upward. Done for a few minutes over a little facial oil so nothing drags, it gives a genuinely lifted, depuffed, more defined look that lasts for hours. A softer jaw, sharper cheekbones, an eye that sits more open. It is the closest thing to a lift you can do with your hands, and it is exactly why the top celebrity facialists, the ones flown across the world to prep a star before an award show, are worth their fortunes. The wealthy rediscover the technique every few years and sell it back as a pricey machine, but the stone is a few dollars and your own knuckles are free. The rule that makes it work is always the same, and it is the rule behind half of this list. Everything moves up and out, never down, and you do not need to buy anything to begin, because your own hands work. Sweep the flats of your fingers firmly up along the jaw toward your ears, then down the sides of the neck to drain until the lower face feels lighter and looks tighter, all for 3 minutes and a little oil so nothing drags. Number 3 is the base, and here is where most women go wrong and the pros go the opposite way. They do not reach for heavy, full coverage matte foundation to hide the years. They reach for the lightest possible veil of a luminous, skin-like base, a tinted moisturizer, a sheer serum foundation, a skin tint, pressed in thin with a damp sponge, and built up only in the 1 or 2 spots that truly need it. Because here is the thing the unforgiving, high-definition movie camera taught Hollywood long ago. The lesson that goes all the way back to Max Factor building the first makeup made specifically for the stars. Heavy foundation does not hide age on camera, it announces it, sinking into every line, sitting on every dry patch, turning a living face into a flat mask that the lens catches instantly. Real young skin is not opaque and matte. it glows and lets light through. So the trick to looking younger is to use less, not more, and let your actual skin show. Sheer and luminous every single time, over full and flat. The way to do it is to resist covering the whole face and instead treat foundation like a spot corrector, a thin veil overall and a tiny bit more only on the redness beside the nose or a mark on the chin, pressed in with a damp sponge that shears it out and melds it into the skin so it never looks like a layer sitting on top. What you are protecting above all is that faint translucency of real skin, the quality of light passing into it and bouncing back, because that glow is the single thing the eye reads as young, and a heavy matte foundation is the one product guaranteed to kill it. Number 4 is what they refuse to do, which is bury the face in powder. This is a genuine dividing line between a face that looks 30 and a face that looks 60, because all over powder drinks up the light and moisture that makes skin look alive and settles into every fine line to make it deeper. The pros set only the small shiny zones if they must, with the lightest touch, and leave the rest of the face dewy and reflective, or they mist it with a hydrating spray instead. A dewy face looks young. A powdered face looks tired. That is nearly a law. If you have oily areas that genuinely need controlling, the professional move is to press a whisper of finely milled powder into just those spots with a small puff. Never to sweep a big brush of it across the whole face, because pressing sets the shine without building the thick, dry, cakey layer that ages you. And a fine mist of a hydrating setting spray at the end melts the layers together into one living surface, doing more for a fresh, skin-like finish than any powder ever could. Number 5 is pure movie set sorcery, the thing almost nobody at home thinks to do. They place light exactly where a young face catches it. A tiny touch of a soft, non-glittery highlighter on the very tops of the cheekbones, a whisper on the brow bone, a dot in the inner corner of the eye, a hint on the Cupid's bow. This is the makeup artist borrowing the cinematographer's own trick, because the way a face is lit is half of how young it looks on screen, and youthful skin naturally reflects light off those high points while time flattens it. So putting the glow back precisely there is like lighting the face from within, and it tricks the eye into reading the whole face as lifted, plump, and fresh, exactly the way a good key light does on a movie set. It is the difference between a face that looks flat and a face that looks three-dimensional and alive, and it takes 10 seconds with one product. The secret is restraint and placement, because the mistake amateurs make is a broad, glittery sweep that looks like frost, while the pros use the tiniest amount of a soft, finely milled, almost creamy glow and put it only on those precise high points where the light naturally lands. Tap it on with a fingertip, keep it off any crepey or textured areas where it will only settle, and the effect is not that people notice highlighter, it is that they cannot quite tell why your face suddenly looks lifted and lit from within. Number 6 is color, and it is the one that puts the life back. As a face ages, it loses its natural flush and turns paler, flatter, more tired, so the pros put the blood back into it with a cream blush, never a dry powder, melted onto the apples of the cheeks and swept up and out toward the temple. That upward stroke of warm, dewy color mimics the exact flush of a young, healthy, slightly out-of-breath face, and it lifts everything with it. A face without blush after 50 looks drained. A face with cream blush placed high looks like it just came in from a walk in the cold, glowing and alive. It is one of the most rejuvenating 30 seconds in the entire kit. Reach for the warm, life-giving shades, a soft peach, a warm rose, a muted coral, because those are precisely the tones a tired, paler complexion is missing, and go a touch brighter than feels natural, since cream blush shears down as it sets. The one rule that matters more than the color is the direction. Apples of the cheeks, then up and out toward the top of the ear. Never down and never in a flat stripe below the cheekbone, because the whole magic of blush after 50 is that it pulls the face upward instead of letting it fall. Number 7 is all about the eyes, because the eyes are where age shows and where youth is faked most convincingly. They curl the lashes, always, because a curled lash lifts the whole eye open the way a droopy straight one never can, and it is the closest thing to a free eye lift that exists. They brighten the whites, sometimes with the oldest trick in the book, a soft wash of a cool bluish tone that cancels redness and makes the eye look clearer and whiter, the way Elizabeth Taylor played her famous eyes. And they keep the eye soft and lifted, a light wash of matte shadow, a flick of liner that lifts up at the outer corner instead of dragging down, never a heavy dark ring that shrinks and tires the eye. Open, bright, lifted eyes are half of looking 30. And the lashes matter more than the shadow, so if you only do one thing for your eyes, curl them and add a single coat of a defining, non-clumpy mascara to the top lashes, going light or skipping the bottom entirely, because heavy mascara underneath casts a shadow that drags attention straight down to any darkness under the eye. A curled, lifted, well-framed lash opens the whole eye in a way that no amount of shadow can, and it is genuinely the cheapest, fastest year-shaving trick the pros rely on. Number 8 is the one they will never say out loud in a glamorous interview, because it is not glamorous at all, but it is the true engine under everything else. They protect and prepare the skin obsessively when no one is watching. Sunscreen every single day, religiously, for decades, because the plain truth is that the vast majority of what we call aging is sun damage, and prevention is the only thing that actually holds the years back, rather than just hiding them. And they prepare the canvas overnight, sleeping on their backs to avoid pressing creases into their faces, on a silk pillowcase that tugs the skin less, over a layer of rich moisture that lets them wake up plump and smooth instead of dry and lined. The daytime tricks are the illusion. This quiet, boring, nightly discipline is the reason the illusion has something young to work with in the first place. It is the least glamorous secret and by far the most important, and it is the one thing on this entire list that actually slows aging rather than merely disguising it. A star's face is, quite literally, her fortune, and the ones who look astonishing at 50 are almost always the ones who guarded it like the asset it is, quietly and unfashionably careful in their 30s and 40s, wearing sunscreen on days off when no camera was anywhere near them. You cannot buy those years back at a counter, but you can start tonight because every day of sun you block is one the illusion will thank you for later. That is the 8, the tricks that build the illusion. But every artist in Hollywood will tell you the same thing. The illusion only holds if you also stop breaking it, because you can do all 8 of those perfectly, and still look older the moment you commit one of the 7 mistakes. The habits that quietly betray a face and that the pros on every set have trained themselves never to do. Mistake number 1, and the worst, is the very thing our instinct screams at us to do: piling on more to cover more. The heavier the foundation, the more concealer packed under the eyes, the more we are convinced we are hiding, the older we look, because thick product cracks and settles and turns the delicate under eye and the fine lines into a dry, creased, obvious mess. The pros know that caked concealer under the eyes ages you more than the circles ever did, so they use the barest amount over well-hydrated skin and leave it soft. More coverage is not more youth. It is almost always the opposite. The tell is always the under eye, and the pros treat it with almost nothing, a hydrating dab of a light, creamy concealer pressed on with a warm fingertip and barely set, so it brightens without ever collecting in a line. The moment you find yourself packing on layer after layer to fix how the last layer looked, you have already lost. Mistake number 2 is matte, and specifically a flat, dry, matte mouth. Matte lipstick clings to every line on and around aging lips and flattens their fullness. So a dark matte lip that looked chic at 30 simply reads as older and harder at 50. The fix the pros use is a creamy or satin finish, a shade softer and warmer than the harsh colors of youth, with a touch of shine in the center of the lip to catch light and fake fullness. Dry and matte age the mouth, soft and luminous rejuvenate it. A lip liner matched to the lipstick, drawn softly right to the natural edge, stops the color bleeding into the fine lines around the mouth that betray age, and a small dot of gloss pressed into the very center of the lower lip catches the light and fakes a fullness that thinning lips lose over time. It is a 2-second finish that turns a flat, dated mouth into a soft, plush, youthful one. Mistake number 3 is the hard, dark line drawn all the way around the eye. It feels like definition, but a solid, dark ring, top and bottom and along the waterline, actually closes the eye in, shrinks it, and hardens the whole face. The golden age glamour we still worship was built on soft, smoky definition, not hard black rings, and the pros keep that alive. A smudged brown or gray instead of a stark black definition on the top and only the outer edge of the bottom, and never, ever a hard line inside the lower waterline, which shrinks the eye more than almost anything else you can do. And they lift that outer flick very slightly up and out toward the temple rather than letting it droop down, because a liner that angles up opens and lifts the whole eye, while a liner that sags does the aging for you. And on a hooded or softening lid, they place it so it stays visible when the eyes are open rather than vanishing into the fold. Soft, smoky, upper weighted, and lifted is the entire formula. Mistake number 4 lives in the brows, and it goes 2 ways. Thin, overplucked brows, the ghosts of a fashion from decades ago, quietly age the whole face by leaving the eyes unframed, and a hard, dark, heavily drawn-on brow ages it just as much by looking severe and false. What the pros do instead is soft and full, feathery strokes in a shade no darker than the hair, brushed up and out to lift the eye, because a soft, fuller, lifted brow is one of the single most rejuvenating things on a face, and a thin or harsh one is one of the most aging. The quickest proof is free and instant. Brush your brows straight up with any little brush and watch your eyes open and your whole face lift in the mirror, and you will understand in 5 seconds why the pros never, ever skip it. Full and soft and brushed up reads as young. Thin, flat, or hard-drawn reads as old, and the distance between the two is a spoolie and a lighter hand. Mistake number 5 is shimmer. And it is a cruel one because that pretty frosted, glittery eyeshadow so many of us loved sinks straight into crepey lids and fine lines and magnifies every one of them. The pros keep shimmer to a tiny, fine point of light in the center of the lid or the inner corner and keep the rest soft and matte, because heavy frost on a mature lid is like a spotlight on exactly what you want to soften. The wearable version is a soft matte or satin wash in a neutral wearable tone with just that one small point of shine to open the eye, and if you love a little sparkle, keep it fine and creamy rather than chunky and dry, because it is the coarse, glittery textures that catch in the creases and give the game away. Mistake number 6 is skipping the skin itself and painting over the top. Makeup applied to dry, unprepped, thirsty skin will always look worse, catching and flaking and settling no matter how good the products are. And this is the mistake that makes an expensive face look cheap. Hydration first, always, is the rule the pros never break, because a made-up face only looks young if the skin underneath it is soft and full of water. 2 quiet minutes of moisturizer, allowed to actually sink in before a single drop of makeup, is the difference between color that sits like fresh skin and color that flakes off a dry surface by noon. No expensive foundation can rescue a face painted onto sandpaper. Mistake number 7 is the quietest and maybe the saddest, because it is doing nothing at all in the places that give age away while overworking the places that do not. It is a face perfectly made up but framed by a drooping, unlifted brow, a downturned, tired eye, a neck and hands forgotten entirely while the face glows. The pros think about lift everywhere, the outer eye, the tail of the brow, the sweep of the blush, and they never forget the neck, the chest, and the hands, because a youthful face above an ignored, sun-spotted neck fools no one. Youth is a whole picture, not a single panel. The neck and the hands are where the years hide most stubbornly, and where almost everyone forgets to look, so the pros carry their skincare, their sunscreen, and even a touch of their base down past the jaw, and they treat the backs of the hands with the same care as the face, because nothing shatters a flawless, youthful complexion faster than a crepey, spotted neck sitting right beneath it, telling the truth the face is working so hard to hide. The next time a 50-year-old woman stops a room and you catch yourself wondering what on earth she has done, you will know the answer, because it is sitting in this list. She iced and massaged her face instead of burying it. She put the light back where youth used to catch it, flushed her cheeks high, opened her eyes, protected her skin for years when no one was watching, and she quietly stopped doing all 7 of the things that hand your age away. None of it was ever about being 30 again. It was about knowing, better than anyone, how to be 50 in front of a mirror. That is not a gift a few lucky women were born with, and you were not. It is 8 tricks and 7 habits, all of them free or nearly free, all of them yours now, tonight, no red carpet and no permission required.